ironically more distance. And I get it, it's a lot of things happening, in this world, and we are becoming more and more into a dystopian society. So I completely understand, but I think that really does come from a point where we need to, I think, consolidate the ideas of needing to have a safe spot, a safe place. And for the longest time I wanted DPR to be like that. I really wanted DPR to be that source, at least with all that shit going on, with all that shit going on, it's because technically that it was a safe spot, but it kind of it had certain things and issues, and obviously certain moments that people have been, and it is sad to see sometimes the community that we've kind of cherished and strived so hard in building to become the very thing that we never wanted it to sort out to be, have a little bit of that type of conflict, and have a little, and start to draw bits of essences from that, right? But as you all know, everything, someone said shoot me, I'm definitely not going to shoot you, but as we all know, realistically, that's something that we cannot change. It's something that's inevitable. As people get popular, as groups become bigger, you're more exposed to the people that would disagree on your opinions, and you're more exposed to the people that just want to hate you because they just want to fucking hate you, right? And I think that's kind of the fucked up world that we live in, apparently, and sadly that's just the realistic case of it. But for me, I don't condemn anybody, and I'll never do such a thing. For me, it's more about how do we encourage now people to see people through, and see more of a way where they can kind of see the good in everything rather than the bad. But I get it. It starts from the bad. I always say you have to learn how to be really bad at something to be really good at it. Not just things technically, but things mentally, right? And I had to be really bad at something to become really good at it. But you never want to strive for perfection or have the idea that everything has an end, which means there is like perfection to a certain extent. And in your world, ladies and gentlemen, if you do want to classify whatever you have as your motive as perfection, that's great. You can personalize it, but just don't hinder when somebody goes and trashes it. It's becoming more and more harder to be a public figure nowadays, right? I think the term public figure has lost a lot of its value. The idea of celebrities are not people that are put on pedestals, but rather the people that needs to be shunned upon in society. And it is. I always say, the more things that are less rare in this world, the less rare things get, obviously the more value it loses. So here's what I'm trying to say at the end of the day. DPR has always been a haven. I wanted it to always be a haven for creatives, for people that want to get away from the real world. This is, I saw something the other day. Artists are meant to deny reality, right? That's what just think about that. Artists are here to deny reality. It's to transform and terraform their imaginations into what they believe and into their perception of what reality is. Right, and that's what makes it beautiful. Often, more times, the most fucked up people are artists, right? So, with that being said, there's no need for an artist to clarify or really kind of officialize what they want to express, as long as it's not hurting anybody, as long as it's not deeming something evil and something that would just absolutely obliterate somebody to a certain extent. I truly believe it's even people like that, even people that want to express moments like that, they do get their point across. But me personally, I'm just not in favor for that. Now, you know, I think it's become such a fad, especially in K-pop, and especially in the idea of like having that certain imagination of wanting to be with that person, wanting to kind of care for that person really does come from. I get it. Like, I completely understand, you know, and there are certain moments where there should be boundaries, and the boundaries should not be crossed, but inevitably, as we all know, those things can't be controlled. Like, we can't control people that are just there, you know. Their fucking minds are just gone, you know. It's more of an obsession rather than a fan type of. I think there's a difference between obsession and supporting someone just because you're a huge fan of that person's art and everything. There's always going to be people in this world, trust me, there is, right? And there's something that we can't really do anything about. Now, coming to terms with that, I don't want that part of the world, that part of the fandom, to overshadow the people that really want to support an artist because they really truly believe this artist has helped them in all types of situations, right? Like, do not let, and this is the point I was trying to make, it's when do you stand up for yourself then, right? Because I know there are so many people and so many dreamers and so many fans out there that support DPR because it has become a safe haven, because it has become somewhat of a environment, somewhat of a movement for you that you can lean back and just get away from your reality, and you know, you can meet a good amount of good people that can help you through life in general. And just, you know, for kicks and giggles, just fucking, it's a show, right? It's a show. It's a show. We're putting on a show, ladies and gentlemen, right? So don't let, I get it, but don't let people overrun your idea of what you believe is your safe haven, right? If you don't fight for that, if you don't fight for what you believe in and the people that you believe in, then what does that make it? Like, what value does that really bring to yourself, right? And I get it. It's because sometimes people like that aren't confrontational. Like, you know what? Like, the reason why I'm coming out and saying all this stuff, and you know, some people will be like, don't give it too much power. Don't talk too much about it because you're giving them what you want. But for me, I'm sick and tired of fucking like what am I? I don't want people to start treating me like I'm like their like obsession, right? And I know, I get it. Like, it's not something that you can help, and it's not something that you can handle. But at the same time, like, if I let a lot of these things go, I'm just going to be framed like that. I'm just going to have people frame that, and more so, it's going to accessorize other people's support, other people's real idea of passion for somebody, for their artist, to go like completely fucking over their heads. And I would never want to disvalue somebody's real, genuine heart of wanting to support somebody in that light over something as freaking petty as that. And for me, it's like, you know, like, I'm not the type of artist that, like, I'm like, look, like, you know, I used to be an idol, so that's what I hate about that shit. Like, I always used to hate not being able to express myself and having such a censorship, because whatever I say and whatever I do can lead up to factoring to like not getting like those fans like on my team. And you know, for me, it's like, I would rather have more genuine fans, even if it's like a little, like, even if it's like 1/10 of what I used to have, as opposed to like millions and millions of fans that have like absolutely no intent other than like wondering if like it's more striking that if I have a girlfriend, or it's like, you know, all these other things, all these factors that have. Am I lagging? Fuck my life. Am I lagging? Am I lagging? Someone said, bro, we support your weird content. That's what I mean. Fucking, let's just be here for that, you know? But I get it. Again, you know, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not imposing, right? Mamacita, right? Now listen, I never impose, right? I never want to impose on anybody's beliefs. I never want to impose on anybody's ideals, and your morals are justified to your own completely, right? I never do that, right? And listen, man, I love fan service. I love reading a lot of that daddy shit, and like, even though I'm not, look at me, fucking, I don't know how to. I'm a boomer. No, I'm not. I'm a millennial, but I'm not, like, I'm not in it. I'm trying to get into it, but point being, right? Point being, there's always a time and a place for everything, but the more people don't stand up for themselves, the more artists don't really stand up for themselves, the more this is going to be a fad, right? Because fans are always going to be fighting for you. Fans are always going to be fighting for you, but you have a separation of what their idea of what they're fighting for you about. And then where do you draw the line of what's right and what's wrong? All right. So then, but I think that should come solemnly from the artist. If I don't put my foot down, if I'm not vocal about who I am as a person and what I want people to support me for, then you start getting a lot of these fucking, like, fan wars and shit like that. But for me, I know that's like a reality. I know that's something that you can't really escape. And that is such a huge crowd that it's going to take so much time, and if not, like, there's no coming back from it. I get it, right? I get it, but please, I just want the fans for all the people in the back out there too, I just want fans to understand that you are truly appreciated by the artists as well, right? Well, me anyway, fucking hell, like, I truly appreciate fans that have always been there in the community, that have always stuck through, have always wanted to dig deeper, have always wanted to find some type of relation, and have found it, and just kept that genuinity alive. For me, it's such a bummer and such a shame if I saw that getting crippled. Like, I just don't want that to be the case, because again, I don't want y'all's experiences, and I don't want your, like, whole perception of what you think support and respecting an artist to be completely, like, thrown off just because we have, like, a whole society and a whole crowd just fucking bottlenecking you and just, like, shoving shit down your throat so you can't say anything, right? Like, listen, I don't stand for that. I'm not that type of artist, and I don't give a shit, because for me, like I get it. I know those people that just want to hate because they want to hate. I know the people that want to be out there and they just want to fucking give you some type of, fucking thing to tiki-taka with, because they want to get a big reaction out of you. It's like, all right, we'll do that. But in the process, I'm going to start calling you out. I'm going to start calling you all out, because it's like, you're just getting way too comfortable, honey. You're just getting way too comfortable now. Because for me, I'm not your typical oppa type of shit that will be like, oh, I'll let you do this, I'll let you do that. No, I'm sorry, man. Fuck that. Because for me, it's like, that's not what DPR is. That's not what we are. I know very well, and I'm very well and aware of who really support us out there. I'm very well and aware of who really loves us, and I'm very well and aware of if that is going to be, if that is going to be tainted. I'm sorry, I'm gonna start talking out on that, even if that means it costs me this and it costs me that and costs me this. And people, listen, I'm not angry. I'm not angry. I'm just a bit manic, which could be a lot worse. But anyway, that's what I'm saying. So I love the support y'all give me. I love the support that y'all are giving me. I love the support. Thanks, John. Thanks. John loves this. By the way, John loves this hairstyle, and I was going to surprise him, but apparently I couldn't. So sorry you had to see it on live. So I just wanted to come out. I just want to say that, like, y'all show so much support that it's well recognized, and honestly, there's more of you than there are of them. If you know my context, if you know what I'm talking about. So don't ever let little moments like these and that dishearten your support and your idea of what you think is respecting an artist, with what you think is helping an artist. Right? We need more of that. I sometimes look at like artists and idols, especially idols. I sometimes look at idols. I feel so bad for these people, man. Like I feel so bad for like, just the idea of like, because their fans, they want to support them, but I see at this other end, at this other hall of them, their fandoms, like this dark cloud that is like gobbling their freaking idea and supports, and you know, it becomes this thing where it becomes more uncomfortable to support their favorite artists, and then it has to diminish their experiences. And because these people are so nice and they're so genuine, it just fucking goes all over them and shit, you know. So, you know, there's got to be a moment in time where you guys stand up for yourselves as well. That, you know, you have to be as brutal, not violent, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not condoning any violence. You just have to be brutal with what you want to stand up for, right? But that doesn't necessarily mean you have to like turn into violence. But you get my point. Anyway, I hope I didn't go into too much of a rant. Y'all need to protect each other. You guys need to be there for each other. As much as there's so much malice in this world, there has to be as much retribution for that type of malice. All right, John, I love you too. So see, like, I get comments with people saying your music makes me feel seen, right? And for me, that means the world. Like, you don't understand. Like, that means so much to me, to have the idea of like, I thought I was doing music and art for me. Like, I was doing this literally so I can express myself, so I can deny the reality that I live in, because of how much of a fucked up world we live in already. Like, I didn't ask for a lot of the things that I came with, right? But it is what it is. You at the end of the day, you only have two options. You either stick around or you don't. And for me, it's like, I decide to stick around because I'm sure in all this amidst of chaos and all these things that have been rubbling and all these fucking, you know, these negative like things that have been just bursting and just waiting to burst in this world, I choose to believe that there is some light to it. I choose to believe that there's some good, and I choose to believe there's some beauty to it. And for me, it's like, if I can manage to see that, if I can somehow convince myself to see that there's something like that, maybe others will see that too. Maybe, just maybe, others will find that relief and start really believing that as well. Because who am I? Like, what am I? Like, I don't know anything. Like, I only know how to get what I'm very good at just out there. And some people might be like, oh, you know, he goes off again, you know, he's being too moody, and he's like, you know, all he talks about is mental health. Yeah, well, I mean, I'm sorry, but yeah, this is literally what you get, you know. And again, it's like, if you don't like it, you know, it's no one's forcing you to stay. But the reason why you're staying, I reckon, is because I feel like there's something in you too that is kind of pulling you towards something. And I feel like, you know, it takes a lot of time for people to digest something. And once people digest it, they shit it out. Just metaphorically speaking as well, what that means is you have something built inside of you. You have something like building up. I get it. You have a lot to say, but it takes some time for you to digest it, for you to really let it out, right? And for people that are asking if I'm angry, yes and no. But I'm not really angry because like somebody said something to me. No, I'm just angry because I sometimes want to believe that we have a community that is growing towards a more of a empowering society. Like I really truly want to believe that, especially DPR is something that we kind of want to build as a collective and kind of grow together as something that we can be proud of. I think that's one thing that I've always kind of wanted, right? So when I see that going off the ropes and, kind of stirring up a little bit, and I get it, I just don't want the fans that have always been there from day one to be disheartened. And when I see that, it disheartens me, because for me, man, I want to be there just as much as you guys are there for me. And I see there's so much value in that. I think there is. Again, man, why would I be doing this? And, and to all the people out there that are that pose threats as you're gonna get cancelled and whatever, and we'll cancel you for this and this. Fucking do it, man. I don't give a shit. I'll just, for me, I know this, as long as I'm genuine and content, and as long as I'm really genuine with the intent that whatever I do is for the purpose of something positive and is to bring more people to the light, then I'm gonna do it. I don't need your affirmation. I'm not doing this for you. I'm not doing it for these type of people. So for all these people that's, fucking shoving their shit down on my, DMs and all that shit, great, man. Fucking do it. Or impose as much as you want. Listen, that's how much of a world we live in right now. It's sorry, I went down the rabbit hole again. But my point being is, I'm not. Listen, man. If you gotta know something about me, I'm not somebody that you're dealing with somebody that's fucking manic, right? You really want to go there. You think something like that, kind of worries me or scares me or anything. I'm very, very honed in on what I believe in. I'm very fucking, you gotta know that about me. I'm very adamant with what I believe in, and I'm very adamant with the people that I want to bring up, and I'm very adamant with knowing what real is, right? That's not for you to justify it. That is not for some of those people out there to want to turn, I know, I get it. I get what people want to do. I get people would want to try to manifest into kind of, changing me or some shit. I don't change, bro. That's the thing. I really don't get how people think that type of reaction that, they want out of me is gonna lessen the person that I am. And this is a message that I want to put out to everyone out there, especially the fans that we have. That's who you guys are. That's who you are. You guys are the people that stand up for yourselves. You believe in real art. You believe it means something to you, and only to you. That's why it matters, right? That's why it matters. That's the type of fandom that we are, and that's what I've always been proud of. And listen, if I can't come out here very boldly and say this, then what type of artist am I to you guys? Really? What am I then? What am I really doing this for? Right? At the end of the day, we are doing art, we are expressing ourselves, but we're building worlds, and we're through these worlds, it's bringing people together, and it's creating something to live beyond about, and live, it's just, it goes as simple as to say, if it becomes a very enlightening topic to talk about at a dinner table with your family, it brings your brother or your sister or your best friend that didn't like stuff like that, to a point where you guys can start talking about things that people deem a taboo, which, whether it be mental health, whether it be something that, that what we believe. I fucking hate when people are like, why is this guy talking about mental health so much? Why? Fucking hell, man. How much of a diminished idea or a frowned upon thing is it to really talk about in this society? How has it got it to that point where all of a sudden it's some people say like it's very cringe to try. It's very cringe to show who you are to the world. Like, what I get what's so cringe about it? Like, what the heck? Like, fucking hell. Like, if being you is cringe, then like literally that just goes to show how much of a judgmental society we've become. We love judging. Fucking people love judging the shit out of everyone, eh? Like, we just love judging people. But it's so much more easier to judge, right? It's so much more easier to point fingers rather than to address that it might just be because we didn't get whatever that type of love or whatever that attention is, or we just don't like it. Like, it could be as simple as that, right? So here's my thing, just learn how to just pick up things that you want to pick up, process the things that only you want to process, and go beyond that, right? And just I encourage to stand up for yourselves and stand up for what you really believe in, because at the end of the day, artists need that, right? The artists in the K-pop industry really need that. They need that type of support, man. They really do. Like, it's such a dark world. It's such a dark industry out there. Like, I'm sure half the things that they want to say, they can't. And I feel so bad for that. And, you know, like, they